Hey everybody, this is James Canole, founder of Root Financial Partners, and I'm here to teach you how to create a more secure retirement. Now, one big risk that we are all keenly aware of is spending too much and running out of money in retirement. But there's another risk that's not talked about nearly as much, but is equally important. And it's the risk of being too frugal and not spending enough money and not being able to fully enjoy everything that you work so hard for. So in today's episode, we're going to talk about a very important mindset shift that's crucial for allowing you to fully enjoy everything you work so hard to create in retirement. Now, this isn't always the case, but many times, people that have worked hard and saved well and lived within their means have gotten to retirement because they've been good at just that, living within their means. So to them, it's not just something that they can switch the flip off. They can't just all of a sudden say, I'm frugal, I live within my means, and now all of a sudden I'm going to give myself permission to spend. I'm going to give myself permission to go do everything I want to do. The mindset shift that took them from where they are or where they were to where they are is a mindset shift that won't allow them to fully enjoy what they want to be able to do in retirement. So the challenge is, how do you shift that mindset? How do you change the way you think about things in order to take what got you here, but turn that into something that will allow for much more enjoyment in retirement? And really this question is about two things. It is about habits and it is about identity. So what we're going to be talking about today, I'm going to lean heavily on a book called Atomic Habits by James Clear, one of my favorite authors. And in this book, James Clear talks about things that are so important, that go well beyond finance, but really transcend into every aspect of our lives. So I'm going to read a quote directly from that book and then apply it to how this impacts our retirement, how this impacts the way we save, how this impacts the way we spend. So this is a direct quote. In Atomic Habits, James Clear says, "The key to building lasting habits is focusing on creating a new identity first. Your current behaviors are simply a reflection of your current identity. What you do now is a mirror image of the type of person that you believe you are, either consciously or subconsciously. To change your behavior for good, you need to start believing new things about yourself. You need to build identity-based habits." Now, I love this because so often we say, how do I spend more? Well, I just got to go do it. I just have to set a goal and go do it. Well, it's much deeper than that. It's how do we transform our identity? How do we transform what we believe about ourselves to be true? Now, the interesting thing about this usually applies to things like people wanting to lose weight, or people wanting to get stronger, or people wanting to save more. So it's interesting to think of it in the reverse of how do I apply this in order to spend more, but the same principles apply. Is that the root of it is our identity, which is what helps to shape our habits. So as we think about this, there's multiple layers here, as I like to think about. And this is, again, a quote from James Clear's book. He says, the first layer is changing your outcomes. This level is concerned with changing your results. Maybe it's losing weight, publishing a book, winning a championship. Most of the goals you set are associated with this level of change. So it's almost like the tip of the iceberg. It's only what you see, but it's not the root cause, or it's not the root core of what leads to that. Back to his quote. He says, the second layer of change is changing your process. This level is concerned with changing your habits, changing your systems, implementing a new routine at the gym, decluttering your desk for a better workflow, developing a meditation practice. Most of the habits you build are associated with this level. So it's at this level where we start to instill these habits, these processes into our daily life that will ultimately lead to those outcomes. But there's a third layer, maybe the most important layer. The third and deepest layer is changing your identity. This level is concerned with changing your beliefs, your worldview, your self-image, your judgment about yourself and others. Most of the beliefs, assumptions, and biases you hold are associated with this level. Outcomes are about what you get. Processes are about what you do. Identity is about what you believe. So as people go into retirement, and I see this all the time, people have had tremendous success saving and investing and getting to where they are, they struggle to make that shift. They struggle to now give themselves permission to enjoy that. And as I mentioned, there's a real risk to that. There's a risk that everything you worked hard to create, what if you don't get to enjoy that? Is your goal to allow your money to keep growing and keep compounding so that you can be the richest person at the end of your life? That's probably not your goal. Your goal is, how do you fully live and fully do what's most important to you? That could be traveling, that could be new experiences, that could be supporting family or charity. There's so many great things you can do with it, But if you can't first switch that mindset, it's really difficult to actually make those changes. So the reason I love this book, and a lot of what James Clear writes, is so often when we want to change our spending mindset, we focus on the outcome. We focus on where we want to believe. Well, where we should be focused is on the identity. The identity is, who are we as people? Because what got me to retirement is maybe I'm frugal, I live within my means, I don't overspend, I don't indulge too much. Well, that belief, that identity does not just change overnight, and that's going to take some time. So how can we change our identity, which is going to help, or is where we're going to change our processes and the things we do, which in turn will ultimately change the outcomes we can expect. So here's another quote, again from James Clear. What he says is, every action you take is a vote for the type of person you wish to become. No single instance will transform your beliefs, but as the votes build up, so does the evidence of your new identity. What this means is every little thing we do, subconsciously often, we don't even realize this is happening, but it is a vote of confidence for who we think we are. What does that mean practically? You want to spend more? You want to give yourself permission to spend? You know that you have a financial plan that says you can spend 2 times as much as you're actually spending? What's going to bridge that gap? It's this shift. It's, can you start doing things? Can you start forcing yourself to spend more? Because every time you do that, it is building this new sense of identity of I am no longer the person that saves everything I can. I'm no longer the person that is so frugal to get to this goal, which by itself is not necessarily a bad thing until it limits what you could ultimately do with some of that money. So as we think of this, these actions you're taking, they are votes for the person you want to become. And the more of these actions we take, the more votes we're casting, the faster and faster we get to become that person we always want to be. So I want to make sure that I'm saying this correctly, because this isn't me saying go spend everything, go spend recklessly. Be very intentional about this. Look at what is actually most important to you. If you're spending money on everything that you want and you're perfectly happy with that, then there's no problem. But if you are limiting your spending, and not because for financial reasons, that's a good enough reason. You need to limit your spending if you're on track to run out of money. But if you are limiting your spending because of a mindset shift that you can't get past, understand, what does spending more money look like? What I value spending money on might be very different than what you value spending money on. Let's say you value experiences. Well, great. What can create more experiences for you? Let's be intentional about this. Is it going out to different restaurants with very interesting cuisine? Is it going to different events? Sit down and make a list of what are the types of things. Take the financial side out of it for a second. What are the types of things that you would do to enjoy those experiences? Make a list and then force yourself to do it. Maybe it's, I want to really enjoy the great cuisine my city has to offer. Okay. Well, make it a list, be intentional about it, and can you force yourself to go out to dinner with your spouse once a week, or go out to dinner with a friend once a week? Literally put something on your calendar. That's the system that you're creating that will lead to that outcome of you gradually becoming more and more comfortable with spending, or more and more comfortable with using your money and aligning your money for what its ultimate purpose should be for you. So this is why I say be intentional. This isn't saying go out and spend recklessly. That's absolutely not the case. But when you can understand what's most important and then build systems and build habits to continually do that, over time it's gradually going to change your identity so that you will become a person that is much more comfortable doing those types of things, taking those trips you've always wanted to take but could never fully justify when you looked at the price tag of them, could give to charities or institutions that you really care about but can never really bring yourself to do so in the past because of what it might mean for your ability to save. So with this, don't start by thinking how much you want to spend. Don't set a goal. Instead, design a system that's going to change your behavior over time. Because what you can do is you can now be the designer of your world, not just the consumer of it. Be intentional about the world you want to create for yourself, the retirement that you want to create for yourself. And if you want better results there, forget about setting better goals. Create better systems. Those systems will in turn create a new identity, and that identity will allow you to live out some of what you want to do, as opposed to, or far more than, goals alone could possibly do. Thanks for watching. I'm James Canal with Root Financial Partners, and if you found value in this video and if you think there's someone else that could find value, please share this with them. We'd love for this to get in front of as many people as possible. And if you enjoyed this video, please like it and please make sure that you subscribed if you haven't already done so. If you want more tips and strategies about how you can create a better, more secure retirement, be sure to check out the Ready for Retirement podcast, where we release weekly episodes all about helping you improve your retirement. And lastly, if you're interested in our services and how we help clients create better, more secure retirements, check out our website at rootfinancialpartners.com.